Good day, good folks. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for liking. And a huge thank you to the sponsors. It is for you that I make these videos. Without your generosity, this would not be viable at all. So thank you so very much. I truly appreciate it. One of the main things that we were taught when we were students of archaeology was that what we produce is knowledge. The only way that you can communicate knowledge is by publishing it. And the job of an archaeologist is to communicate this knowledge. It can be done in different ways. It can be targeted at the general public. It can be targeted at the professional community. And ideally, it would be both. Of course, nowadays in our search for quick satisfaction, most people cannot actually read and do not read. They prefer to see a documentary. And I have seen and participated in enough documentaries by now to be able to comment, but my kindness, nobility of character, generosity of spirit, sweetness of character prevent me from discussing many of the documentaries that I have seen. But of course, they're trying to tell a story. They're trying to find conflict where sometimes there is none. And they get deeply frustrated if you cannot provide them with conflict between the team members or something like this. Anyway, even with the best intentions, a documentary can never really provide you with the real, full knowledge and basis. For this, you still have to go to the printed medium. And thank God for that. It will be a sad day when printed media disappears. There are two types of publications you can produce. Book, but that requires a complete study of an entire wreck, extensively excavated, extensively preserved, with large quantity of artifacts, etc., etc. Slightly quicker satisfaction, but major venue for publications are journal articles. And here it depends on the subfield, depends also on the specific department, sometimes of archaeology, whether books are preferred or articles in journals. Usually social sciences prefer articles with the occasional book. Most other sciences prefer, of course, books in the humanities. Without going too much into the philosophy where archaeology belongs, in my humble opinion, it belongs more with the humanities and with history than with social sciences. But of course, here in the US, it is exactly the opposite. It is with the social sciences. All of this as an introductory paragraph to discussing some of the major journals and publications that are of interest or potentially of interest to ship modelers and viewers of this and the SYSTER channel. Here, we can enter two separate groups of journals. The one is, of course, the one group would be the purely archaeological journals, and then the other group are the historical journals. And both have their advantages, both offer useful information to ship modelers as long as they are peer-reviewed, serious, well-established journals. Among foremost and most important, of course, of the maritime journals would be the MARINER'S MIRROR. It has been coming out since before World War I, with very few interruptions around the war. It has been going on for over 100 years now, 112 years. It was founded by such great names known to any ship modeler like Dr. R.C. Anderson. He was one of the founding fathers of the journal. It continues to be published. It is still strong, going strong. Yes, the focus has somewhat changed over the years. The approach to publishing, the editorial style has changed. Of course, such things happen. They're inevitable, especially when we're talking about practically an institution all of its own. It's not always and not in every issue that I find material that is of any interest to me. And this one, for example, from some years ago, 2018, there are really only 2 articles out of the 5 that I am interested in. But that is because my interests are very narrow, very specific, and I'm looking at it from a professional point of view. How does it inform me about the things that I am working on at the moment? And ironically, well, perhaps not ironically, I grabbed the first issue that was most convenient to me before filming this. This one contains an article, A New Battle Fleet, The Evolution of the Ottoman Sailing Navy, 1650-1718, reviewed through Venetian sources. So, obviously relevant to what I'm working on at the moment. Rather interesting, but this, I'm not sure that I should admit this. I'm almost embarrassed to admit it. I'm very fond of the Mariner's Mirror. It's not an archaeological, very rarely is it dealing with specific material culture. There were a few articles in older editions where actual physical archaeological remains were studied. But nevertheless, I value it highly. I was introduced to it, actually, believe it or not, through John Franklin's The Navy Board ship models. And there he kept on quoting the Mariner's Mirror and quoting the Mariner's Mirror. And to my eternal shame, I was newly arrived in the United States. I had not yet encountered it. Fast forward 2-3 years, and for my sins, I ended up in Lawrence, Kansas. One of the previous spouses, my previous spouse was a student at the University of Kansas, and I was spending my days off from working at Borders bookstore and another 2 jobs. I was spending my free time roaming the library. And on one of the floors, I found the entire run of the Mariner's Mirror. To say that I felt like I had fallen in paradise is a masterful understatement. I was thoroughly delighted. I was in 7th heaven. So what I did was, I didn't know where to start. Everything was interesting, everything was new, everything was exciting. So I started reading from the first volume by volume. I was reading them exactly the way normal human beings, rather than me, read a novel. Page after page. I had one of those spiral notebooks, pocket books really, with spiral on top, and I filled it with sketches, with notes of material that I acquired there. Especially in the early issues, when the founders of the magazine themselves were dealing with their personal collections, with documents, original documents that they have found, with models that were in their possession. Some of these were before even the Maritime Museum was properly established. And much of the collections at the Maritime Museum were gifted to the museum in Greenwich by the founders of the Society for Nautical Research, who are the publishers of the Mariner's Mirror. So they were describing their discoveries, they were describing their finds. It was step-by-step process. And I've always been a fast reader until my daughter. Now she leaves me in the dust with speed of reading. It's embarrassing, really. But returning to the topic, volume after, I would be there at opening of the library. I'll be there until they threw me out, almost literally, almost physically. Yeah, some other time I'll tell you about the time when I was locked up in the library of a museum. That is a story worth telling in the future. But returning to this is how I acquired much of my early knowledge. And that notebook still exists, but unfortunately, and I'm kicking myself for this, very sadly, at the time I was taking the information, I was writing the notes, but I was not marking the page from which I had extracted that information. So though very useful as general source of information, it is utterly useless as used in research and publishing. Mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. As a good friend of mine here says, stupid should hurt, and believe me, it does hurt. So that is my personal story of the Mariner's Mirror. It gave me, this was the year before I entered Texas A&M, the Nautical Archaeology program at Texas A&M. And I knew that I had been accepted, but I had to postpone for financial reasons. I didn't have the funding. So I decided to catch up, and I knew, I was positive that all my classmates are going to be so far ahead of me. They would have read so much more than I, because, you know, they grew up in the United States. They've had access to these publications, to these libraries that I didn't back in Sofia. That I was already building up myself or suffering from inferiority complex. I absolutely was confident that I would be the idiot of the group. And I may very well have been the idiot in the group, but in a different way. So when I ended up at the A&M, these days of 14, 16 hours of reading, page by page, the entire 80 volumes of the Mariner's Mirror, proved to be of immense, incredible value. It is what helped me pass through with somewhat flying colors through the Nautical Archaeology program. It put me head and shoulders ahead of many other people who were definitely not dumber than me, probably smarter than me. Anyway, so for anyone interested in history and archaeology, this is a highly recommended journal. And you can see a link down below to the society that publishes it and the publication. Actually, considering that there are 4 volumes per year, it's still quite reasonably priced. I hope you enjoyed as much as I have enjoyed the Mariner's Mirror. With this, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you a most wonderful rest of your day. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the sponsors. Without you, I wouldn't be making these videos anymore. So thank you very, very much. I appreciate your generosity, your kindness. Thank you to the viewers. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. I'll do my best to answer questions when and if I can. And eventually, my book will be done and I'll be able to answer regularly. Until then, please bear with me. Thank you so much, and I wish you most pleasant rest of the day. Goodbye.